Celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Hyundai, home of the Kona electric vehicle, an electric heart with an SUV soul. Test drive yours today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
More arrests were made in connection to last week's riot at the Dedado skate park. There's a shakeup with leadership over at the Department of Corrections. A voice in the U.S. Senate will tell you about a bill introduced by Congressman Michael Nicholas. These stories and more right here, right now on Primetime. Hafiday and good evening. The Guam Police Department is continuing to round up for more suspects for the riot that occurred at the Dedado skate park that left 3 people injured. With the latest is Tyler Matanani.
6 people have now been arrested in connection to last week's riot at the Dedado skate park. According to GPD spokesperson Berlin Savella, a video of the incident that went viral and the public helped track down those involved.
With the video, it does serve as great assistance, also in combination with the community and staff of a high school, leads us to more suspects than we can possibly identify through that video.
That video showing a full-blown riot. According to court documents, several of those involved have been drinking beer and Captain Morgan. One even grabbed a skateboard and struck a vehicle. The individual who recorded the video was identified as 19-year-old Mali Eos. He was the first one to be arrested. According to court documents, he admitted to his involvement and is alleged to have thrown a bottle at the eye of one of the victims, leaving him permanently blind in one eye. The 5 others that were arrested were 23-year-old James Repwack, 18-year-old John Joshua, 22-year-old Darwin J. Imbueto Fortes, 19-year-old Kason Nick, and Chesrick Tom. All 6 face various charges ranging from assault, aggravated assault, underage drinking, and criminal mischief. In response to community concern that it took 20 minutes for GPD to respond to the riot, Savella says otherwise, and that officers were on the scene within 4 minutes.
The unfortunate thing is that no one had identified that the victim was en route to or had just left. So what I've gathered was, as the victim was leaving in a vehicle, our officers were arriving, and that information was not made known to the officers when they did arrive to find out what was going on.
For KUAM News, I'm Tyler Matanani.
And new information as a night of heavy drinking led to the stabbing and death of a man at an apartment complex in Maite, KUAM's Hannah Devanzo has this report.
A little after midnight on Saturday, March 5th, a man was discovered lying in a pool of his own blood behind the Angel Care Apartments on Robot Street in Maite. Guam Police Department spokesperson Berlin Sevilla.
A male adult was located laying in a pool of blood with serious injuries, unconscious and unresponsive. Guam Fire Department medic units were on scene, and the victim was immediately transported to Naval Hospital, Guam.
Detectives from the Criminal Investigation Section were activated and discovered that the responsible suspect was 18-year-old Tano Resalap. He was arrested for murder, and the victim was identified as Ty Kenson. According to a resident from the Angel Care Apartments, Kenson, Resalap, and an unknown third individual were seen drinking together when a fight broke out over a broken car window. A resident was able to calm the situation the first time, but a second altercation occurred between Resalap and Kenson. According to court documents, Resalap grabbed a kitchen knife from the table, stabbed him, and fled the scene with the unknown individual. Detectives found Resalap at his residence, and later he confessed to his involvement in the incident. He was confined at the Department of Youth Affairs. He wasn't charged with murder, but according to the magistrate's complaint, he's charged with second-degree aggravated assault and third-degree aggravated assault. Both charges contain a special allegation for the use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. While Resalap is now 18, during the event of the stabbing he was 17. According to the Attorney General's office, minors charged with second-degree felonies or higher may be charged as an adult. Hannah Devanzo for KUAM News.
A 17-year-old Department of Youth Affairs client is back in custody after escaping the Mangilaw compound Sunday. According to DYA Director Melanie Brennan, the client scaled an internal and external perimeter fence at around 3 p.m. The Guam Police Department was notified by the supervisor on duty. Brennan adds DYA officers chased after the client but lost sight of the minor in the jungle area. GPD spokesperson Berlin Savella says patrol officers along with GPD's Community Crimes Task Force assisted with the search. CID detectives joined the search today. The escapee was detained a little after 1 o'clock this afternoon. And there's a new acting director of Department of Corrections, as Joe Carbolito, in a video message sent to staff over the weekend, announced he's returning to his old stomping grounds.
I want to announce that today, Saturday, March 5th, is my last day as the director of the Department of Corrections. I will be returning to GPD, where I served the people of Guam for over 3 decades. I strongly believe that I can help advance GPD's mission and then retire as a police officer.
Adelup announced that Deputy Director Robert Camacho will serve as acting director. Camacho has been with the DOC for a total of 37 years. Marianas Fusion Director Frank Leon Guerrero is also being moved to DOC to serve as deputy director. Leon Guerrero is a former U.S. Marshal for Guam and the CNMI. Adelup, meanwhile, announced the appointment of Warren Pelletier as Deputy Director of Department of Parks and Recreation. He is the founder and former general manager of Guam Seawalker Tours and Ocean Jet Club. Should Guam and the other territories also have a representative in the U.S. Senate? That's what a bill by Congressman Michael San Nicolas proposes. The position would be established similar to the current non-voting House delegate. Nestor Lecanto reports.
Congressman San Nicolas has introduced the Territorial Representative in the Senate Act, co-sponsored by fellow delegates Gregorio Kilili Sablan of the CNMI, Stacey Plaskett of the Virgin Islands, and Eleanor Holmes Norton of the District of Columbia. According to a news release, the bill, quote, creates in the U.S. Senate the option for each territory to elect a new territorial delegate representative for that body with functions similar to the current territorial delegate to the House of Representatives. San Nicolas said that while progress is still needed to secure voting rights in the House, quote, we must not neglect the fact that there is still ground to be gained by securing territorial representation in the Senate. Under the measure, the delegate to the Senate would still not have the right to vote, but would otherwise have all the other rights of a senator. Currently, the Senate is equally divided with 50 Democrats and 50 Republicans. Interestingly, the 4 co-sponsors of the San Nicolas measure are Democrats, and the 2 other territorial representatives who are not co-sponsors are Republicans, Jennifer Gonzalez Colon of Puerto Rico and Amada Coleman Radowagan of American Samoa. In his release, though, San Nicolas did thank them for their support. For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
And over in the CNMI, Senator Vinny Sablan finds himself in the middle of a fierce political storm. He's one of 9 votes in the looming impeachment trial that will determine if Governor Ralph Torres remains in office. He also happens to be his running mate for lieutenant governor. Will he vote to convict Torres? Here's more. Senator Vinny Sablan is in the middle of a political firestorm.
A very unique situation for myself. I know that people see that and feel that as well.
He's one of 9 lawmakers who will decide if Governor Ralph Torres will remain in office after his impeachment trial. Sablan happens to be his running mate. But will he vote to essentially end his own party's campaign?
Eventually, we'll get through this, and like I said, the impeachment process for the Senate will be transparent.
Sablan, who turned Republican after running as an independent, would fill the seat left vacant on the ticket after sitting Lieutenant Governor Arnold Palacios turned independent after running as a Republican with Torres. But the politics isn't new. Sablan has served in nearly a decade in public office in both the Senate and House.
I'm looking forward for a healthy relationship with not only the governor, and I do have that healthy relationship with him now as a sitting senator and as he is the governor. But I also have good working relationships with everyone else here in the legislature and everyone else in the executive branch.
While in a political storm, he says the governor's response to typhoons and the pandemic can silence the noise.
The governor has been able to weather those storms and continue to ensure that services are provided in the midst of this pandemic. And that's where the resilience comes from.
And he says it's only the start.
We are in campaign season, a lot of things are sensitive, and, people are really rooting for their own candidates. But, my message is, we want to continue to do good. We want to continue to, like I said, to pave the way for our kids when it's their turn to lead.
It's now the Senate's turn to decide if the three-team gubernatorial race remains intact. News out of the CNMI coming up next, plus important news for parents regarding the PEBT program. Keep it here.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
We all start somewhere. We start with the day. We start with him. We start with family. We start with a lesson. And the perfect wave. We start here and here. We start at your office and your home. We start with the connections that matter the most, the ones that move us, change us, inspire us. In an ever-expanding world, personal connections are what tie everything together, what ties us together. We all start somewhere. At GTA, we start with you.
At the start of the pandemic, being the only provider in my household, I was so worried that I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to pay my bills.
I still work, but it was short hours, like only 2 hours, 3 hours a day, and that didn't really cut it.
I wasn't really thinking about getting any type of federal assistance.
I got BUA and I got seniors, and it's helped a lot. It really means a lot to us.
It really took a lot of burdens off my shoulders. It really helped me to provide for my family and put food on the table, and it really came at my time of need.
Yeah, it kind of dropped your worries down because everything was less stress.
I was able to stay at home with my son and not worry about having to work during the pandemic.
Thank you for the federal fund.
Thank you for the unemployment assistance.
Thank you so much for the pandemic unemployment assistance. If you have any questions, please contact your congressman's office.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Let us know what's up on our KUAM News WhatsApp tip line at 671-727-0094. Share information about what's happening in your town, on Guam or the CNMI, and what you want us to know. Reach us on WhatsApp at 671-727-0094. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. It appears an investigation by the House Committee on Ethics involving Congressman Michael San Nicolas is on the move in the nation's capital.
It was in 2019 his former staffer, John Paul Manuel, filed a complaint against Congressman Michael San Nicolas, alleging he converted campaign funds for personal use, had an inappropriate relationship with the staffer, both of which are violations of House rules. In June of 2020, the House Ethics Committee authorized the formation of an investigative subcommittee to look into those allegations, as well as whether the congressman disclosed information to the Federal Election Commission that may be false, among other things. After the congressman was reelected, the House Ethics Committee in May 2021 then reauthorized the formation of the ISC in the 117th Congress. According to documents obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request to the Guam Legislature's central office, Manuel apparently took annual leave to travel to the nation's capital last week. Manuel currently is a staffer for Senator Pito Chalahi. Included in the documents from central office was a letter dated February 11th, 2022, from the House Committee on Ethics Director of Investigations, Brittany Pescator. Manuel was requested to be interviewed on March 2nd in D.C. According to his leave form, Manuel requested annual leave from March 1st through the 4th. He was not available for comment, and there's good reason. According to Pescator's letter, he was asked to refrain from discussing his interview with anyone other than the ISC. Interestingly, she also requested to maintain the confidentiality of this actual letter, which was released by the legislature. This to safeguard the integrity of the investigation. KUAM did reach out to Congressman San Nicolas for a comment, but he declined. However, in 2019, he said the allegations stemmed from a number of various local government officials who are currently under an active FBI investigation. He also posted on Facebook in 2019 alleging Democratic Party leaders orchestrated the allegations against him, calling it dirty local politics. The party and the administration denied those allegations. Meanwhile, as we head into another election season, the Democratic Party has already publicly endorsed the incumbent team of Governor Lulian Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio. Congressman Michael San Nicolas has not made a formal announcement, but has said he is seriously considering running for governor.
If you have information about government corruption, you're now able to report it to the Guam Ethics Commission. Here's more.
Guam Ethics Commission is finally able to accept complaints related to government corruption. The entire process has been in a holding pattern for months until the recent hiring of a legal counsel. Executive Director Jesse Kanga says the public can now call their office to begin the process of filing their complaint for the commission to adjudicate.
First, we want to encourage persons to give us a ring. That will allow the team to review and set up a scheduled time for you to discuss your case, elements, evidence that you might have, what the case is surrounding, who are the officials involved. And from there, the team has been trained and prepared to walk you through the process, and eventually when they feel comfortable enough, placing that information, in your own words, on an official application. This application is necessary in order for the commission to acknowledge that this has been filed officially for their review and for their further action.
Kanga says additionally that the commission will have to establish whether they have jurisdiction over the case based on 3 elements. The first is to establish whether the complaint involves an actual government employee, including officials from the legislature, the judiciary, or autonomous and semi-autonomous agencies. The second would be to determine whether the complaint happened within the past 3 years.
And then the third would be that it falls within any of the 8 matters that the commission itself has jurisdiction over, and that expounds things like gifts reporting, conflicts of interest, handling confidential information, unfair treatment, to name a few. But a lot of those things are discussed in detail with the complainant when they make the call and have that appointment with our office.
When the commission is officially received, an internal review is conducted to determine if there's any conflict of interest among staff with either the complainant or the subject of the complaint. Ultimately, the decision will be up to commissioners to determine whether to proceed with the case or dismiss it outright. The Guam Ethics Commission is located in the GCIC building downtown in Hagåtña. The number to initiate the complaint process is 671-969-5625.
And the governor still has about $374 million in unspent American Rescue Plan funds, according to the latest report from the Budget Bureau. That doesn't necessarily mean there's any extra left, though. All of the $578 million received in ARP funding has been allocated. The $374 million represents what's not yet been spent or encumbered. The biggest chunk is the $182 million that's been set aside for a new hospital facility. Much of what's been spent has been on various public assistance programs to provide relief for individuals and businesses. It includes $36.7 million for the All Rise program, $29.4 million to GPA and GWA to offset rate increases, $26.4 million for the Local Employers Assistance Program, and $16.7 million for GEDA business grants. Not included is the recently announced reinstatement of the Programang Salapi, which will provide up to $300 to families to help with soaring gas prices and other needs. Applications for the program will be accepted starting March 15, according to the governor's executive order. And about 7,000 more students qualify for the additional $400 in SNAP benefit through the PEBT program. This is on top of the 26,000 students that already qualify. According to Public Health PIO Janela Carrera, the Department of Agriculture's Food and Nutritional Services just approved the PEBT for students, although there is no date announced on the issuance of funds. Just to be clear, this is a one-time payment of $438 for students and graduates who were enrolled in GDOE schools during school year 2020 to 2021. The PEBT program addresses the meals lost while schools were shut down. And Weddingale Elementary and Benevente Middle School in Dededo were burglarized over the 3-day weekend. Although GPD is investigating, Guam Department of Education Deputy Superintendent of Operations Erica Cruz is pleading for the community's help in identifying these suspects. This marks the 8th break-in at BMS and 4th for Weddingale since January. If you have any information about the school break-ins, you are encouraged to submit a tip to GuamCrimeStoppersWeb.com. And coming up, Dave Delgado with sports, and still to come, March is declared Social Work Month, and later this week's Giving Every Tuesday feature. Keep it here. You're watching KUAM.
Beautiful. It is, right, baby?
Dad, isn't that where we usually stop for gas?
It's where we used to stop, but not anymore.
But isn't that the place with the milkshakes?
Okay, all right, let's go.
Good job, kids.
Take your adventure further in the first ever Santa Fe Hybrid.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Hi. You look really nice.
You look so cute.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Easter Girls Basketball Championship, Islanders taking on the Bulldogs. Sophomore player Cassandra Keto with 9 points for JFK. Islanders held on to an 8-point lead heading into the break. Ukadu's Amaya Fontanilla hit for 10 points as the Ukadu Bulldogs trailed 31-29 with 4:30 to play in the third quarter. Layla Smart with the pass to Jody Masili, who gets inside for 2 points. Bulldogs go on an 8-2 run to cut into the lead 40-38 after the basket by Jasmine Sampson, who finished the game with a team-high 14 points. Jada Hahn hit for 13 points. Rebound off the Smart miss. Jada goes right back up with it. Smart iced the game from the free throw line as the Islanders hold it down on home court for the title, 44-41.
Me, Hannah, and Jada from the beginning, from our freshman year, we came to JFK. We were little freshmen trying to fight and everything. I'm I'm just happy that we finally got one. This is my first year playing. I never got the chance to play because of COVID last year. There were restrictions and, but we held it up and we're champions, baby.
I felt overwhelmed when the clock hit 0. My team, we were just overjoyed and we worked so hard for this. Our hard sweat and tears, it paid off and we were able to get the win out of this. It was a very close game, it was a very close fight, but we were able to get ourselves together and just get the win.
Big hafaloa to Jaden Crisostomo for winning the 168-pound state wrestling title at the Blaisdell Arena in Honolulu, Hawaii. Jaden, a senior from Mauna Loa High School, finished the tournament 4-0, winning her first state title. Crisostomo is the daughter of John and Jean Crisostomo from Tamuning. Her father is a former MMA fighter. Her brother Jason is a sophomore and wrestles for Oregon. St. Louis High School freshman Colt McCready placed 4th in the recent Hawaii High School State Championship. He eliminated the number 2 seed to make it to the semifinals, losing to the eventual state champion. McCready was the only freshman to make his team and compete in the States. He is the youngest child of Brandon Dina McCready. Colt also has a brother, Thomas, who wrestles in the NCAA.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
If you are a senior citizen or an individual with a disability who needs assistance in getting the COVID-19 vaccine, call 311 and press 2. A representative will be happy to assist you in scheduling a vaccination appointment, arranging transportation if needed, or arranging homebound vaccination service. Just call 311 and press 2. This public service announcement is made possible through the Guam Tri-Agency on Developmental Disabilities, UOG Center for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities Education, Research and Service, Guam Legal Services Corporation, Disability Law Center, and Guam Developmental Disabilities Council through the Administration for Community Living.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
It's the 8th of March, everybody, so let's all say happy birthday. And we're saying exactly that to Mylene Prudente. Happy birthday and with love from your family. We got a lot of belated birthday wishes to get to tonight, guys, so here we go. Xander James Duenas Lazama, born on March 6th. Happy birthday, Xander. Wishing you nothing but the best on this very special day. We love and miss you every day. Love your fam clan. Love that. Nohea Ella Kahele San Nicholas, also born on the 6th. Happy first birthday to our sweet baby from your entire family. We love you beyond the stars, the moon, to infinity, and beyond. Awesome. John P. Castro was born on March 7th, and happy birthday to the best man we know. You are a role model and our hero, and we love you, says your family. Jason Brian Regis Perez, also born on the 7th. Biba cumpleaños, like you. We miss you so much. God bless you on your guide to journey and to success and happiness. We wish you all the best. Mama, Tata B, your brothers, all five of them, your sister, and the rest of your familia. And Tomas P. Torres, happy birthday to our dad, grandpa, great-grandpa, Tomas, coming from the entire Torres family. Mr. Torres was born on March the 7th. So everyone who had a birthday today or previously, we wish you all the best.
And for this week's Giving Every Tuesday, hoping to keep island residents safe, especially when out on the streets, one child